Right, Shalom. Giving all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, who taught us this truth. Shalom to the elect, 144,000, first and foremost, pushing this truth in all sincerity in four quarters of the earth. I'm your brother Tabar Yakuna, coming at you with a quick lesson, Lord willing, it's edifying. Just checked out this clip that a brother sent on it's entitled "Is America Losing Its Religion?" It's by ABC News. I just read, like the introduction of it. I don't want to really play the audio of it, but it says, lady says, we often turn to religion in times of great joy, a birth, a communion, or perhaps a wedding, and also in times of suffering, a death, or a national tragedy. But with each passing year, fewer, let me see, says suffering, death, or national tragedy, but with each passing year, fewer of us attend religious services regularly. We're losing our places of worship, our, I believe that's the guy that, that's the guy that was doing the interview, which he's an openly gay individual. He says so on his bio at Wikipedia, and he's an Israelite. He's from Nigeria. Most of the west coast of Africa, because we were scattered throughout all nations. The Israelites are scattered throughout all nations, and particularly that west coast of Africa, which is considered the wilderness, the mountains. When it says flee ye to the mountains, this is where we fled to, fleeing Roman persecution. Okay, so our people come in various colors, so to speak, quote unquote. Nationalities, so to speak, even though, and I'm talking about nationality in a common definition. We know that real nationality goes back through a seed line, and the Lord created 18 nations, all right, and chose one, the nation of Israel, all right. And just looking at this, man, you got these Roman Catholic churches. We all know that the Roman Catholics, we should know that that's a pagan institution, man. It pushes, witchcraft, pagan religions. All right. When you go to the book of Revelation, 13th chapter, Salakia, not 13th chapter, but the Salakia, the 16th chapter, and the 13th verse, it speaks about that false prophet. The false prophet is the Vatican, headed by the Pope, and we know, that these people, when they came over in this, if you have a chance to take a look at this video, the correspondent, the interviewer, he has a little clip where he talks about, how the pilgrims came over with their Bibles, and, made it seem like they always paint it in a favorable, a pretty picture. Yeah, they came over with religion and their Bibles and God, and they sat down with the Indians and had Thanksgiving together. No, man. Those pilgrims came over with a sword. Christopher Columbus came over with his sword. He said he could not put down his sword, no, not for 1 hour, hacking up you so-called Mexicans and Indians, which you are Israelites as well, man. You're Israelites as well. So it wasn't no pretty picture, and it continues to not be a pretty picture. we Israelites continue to be persecuted day in and day out in this land, Babylon the Great. Scriptures speak about how this is not our rest. You know, this is not our rest, and to trust not in Egypt and Pharaoh. You know, and that's what a lot of our people do, man. They trust in, they're under a deep spell. Under a deep spell, man. And so, just looking at this, of course, they're going to talk about, the house of God, which God just means power. So scriptures speak about how there's many gods. There's gods many, lords many. All right. It says, and also if you go to, let's grab this in the book of Acts chapter 7 and verse 48. The scripture says, let me get it real quick. Don't want to mess it up. This is the book of Acts chapter 7 and verse 48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in the temples made with hands, as saith the prophet. All right. So the Lord doesn't dwell in temples made with hands. All right. The time of physical temples is over. The Lord is making a spiritual temple through his prophets, through the elect. Lord willing, we be of that number, man. The elect men, Book of Revelation, the 7th chapter, speaks on that. How he chose 12,000 out of each tribe, the 144,000. This is the new temple. This is the tabernacle of David being built right before people's eyes, going out on the highways and byways, by preaching this word, man. What the scriptures say: the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. See if we can grab that real quick. They're not carnal. All right. So yeah, it's a spiritual war being had right now, being in the midst right now. 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations. Yeah, the RHC, the Roman or the RCC, the Roman Catholic Church, is a stronghold, man. It's an imagination. It's a house of whoredom. It's a house of idols. You look at those images. One prominent image that comes into mind is so-called Mary, which she has golden blonde hair, and so-called the world calls him Jesus and Christ, Jesus or Christ, in her arms with a crown on his head. They both got crowns on their heads, man. But she's bigger. And he's a little Jesus, right? With blonde hair as well. And that's called iconoclasm. That's scriptures speak about covering the faces of the judges. The judges are the Israelites. That's what happened in let's see if we can grab it real quick. In the Dark Age, or after the Dark Ages, after that devil was let loose for a little season, man. This is the book of Revelation, chapter chapter 20 and verse 3. And it reads, and cast him into him is we'll read up one. It says we'll read the top. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit. All right, the bottomless pit is Europe. All right, and a great chain in his hand. That chain represents slavery for Edomites, man. So this was the Dark Ages. This is what they considered the Dark Ages. All right, and it was dark because it was dark for Esau Edom, man, so-called white man. He was in a low place, man. The Lord chained him up. All right. It's verse 2, and it says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Right. So the devil, Satan, Shaitan in the Hebrew, going back to the garden. That's why it says that old serpent. You go to Genesis 3:1 for that. But he takes the form, physical form, on earth through Esau Edom, the nation of the nation of Edom. Okay, they take hold. They take that satanic spirit, and you can see it clear as day in their works. You know, Esau is a great bloody and deceitful man. He's a liar, and he's a fugitive and a vagabond. The scriptures speak about that as well, how he runs to and fro on the earth trying to hide himself, and he's and at the same time wreaking havoc all over the place, man. War, pollution, destruction, murder, rape, robbery, you know, deceit. This is what this devil does, man. And he did a lot of that through the RCC, man, through the Roman Catholic Church, man. You Gadites, you so-called Indians, man. He had a whole boarding school, to try to assimilate you into the Edomite way of life. And he took your children, and he did what he did with them, which there's plenty of. You can see how the RCC how they child abuse, child sex abuse. That's just prominent. That's just all throughout the history of that institution, man. Right? And they're saying this is why these churches are part of why these churches are drying up. The congregations are so-called losing the faith. Well, the faith was never really founded on anything anyway, man. The scriptures speak about if it be of the Most High, it cannot be overthrown. Roughly paraphrasing, and that's what we're doing. The tabernacle of David is not going to be overthrown, man. That's why they can't do anything about, the prophets out on the highways and hedges, man. Even though Revelation 12:12, the devil knoweth that he hath but a short time, so he's going to come down with great wrath on us. But, we already know. And that's where faith comes in, man. That's where strong faith comes in. But getting back to this RCC, man, it was just it was interesting to look at this, and I'll do another one, but it was just interesting to look at this, man, because how it kind of ties into this new movie, Nosferatu. It seems, and I didn't realize that was Nosferatu was a remake. I did, but I didn't realize at the time when I was watching it. But, I'm going to stop here. I'll pick up with a part 2 in a minute. Shalom.